today's part of today's project is to build up our raised beds, and so we are buying all kinds of dirt and stuff to put in our raised beds when we get to the farm. So let's go this way. Getting a handful here. Get something to put these in. Get hold of them. This is our harvest of tomatoes that we just picked. These tomatoes actually are the ones that the pigs planted. We did not plant these. We fed them some tomatoes last year sometime, I think it was, and they replanted them for us, and they came up with a vengeance. So now we have lots of tomatoes, and there's still more out there. These are not full-size, like slicing tomatoes. We don't know what these are. We call them Huskies, but that's like the biggest one we got. And then there's some others that are not quite so big. And that's a pretty one, that's real red. So they're various sizes really, but they're good. We've eaten them several times and they are definitely a good tomato. We didn't have a container with us to put these in when we went out there and picked them just now, so Carol's got them sort of tucked underneath her shirt right there. She's holding them in there. So we'll have to take these up to the house and get them put in there. So yeah, looking good. Well, so far we've not ever been able to really grow big tomatoes, and so we're going to try something different that we haven't done before, I think. We bought these tomatoes. They're already starts, of course, instead of planting seeds. It just takes so long for us to plant seeds and get them to a size big enough to put them in the ground or in the pot. So we went ahead and bought these that are this size, and we're going to put them into these big pots like this and try to get them to grow big enough that then we can put them into the ground. So that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to put this dirt into here, put the tomatoes in them. We've got 3 of these tomatoes. We got 3 different sizes or different kinds, and so we're going to try to get some different ones going and see what happens. This one here, I don't know which one. This is called a big boy. It's a hybrid. So we'll plant this one, and I think we've got another one that's a beefsteak or something. A better bush, and this one's a red beefsteak. Okay, so we're going to try these 3 and see what we can do with them. And hopefully, since they are the size they are now, they will do well. So we're going to see what happens. The other thing that we wanted to point out too is we've got all those other tomatoes that we had picked a few minutes ago, and they were about this big, but we don't have any slicing tomatoes. And so that's what these are for. These are supposed to get big enough that we can use them to either put on hamburgers or something like that, or just cut them up and eat them like they are. So that's the idea behind planting some bigger tomatoes for us. So we're going to see how they do. All right, what we usually try to do with tomatoes is to plant them deep into the dirt. So I probably can plant this about right up to this area right in here somewhere, which means what we can do is we can take off these lower leaves right here because we're not going to need those. And then we can plant this deeper because tomatoes, when you see them growing, if you look, usually further up on the stem, it will have roots that will start to come out of there. And so you can plant these, and some people plant them laying them on their side or whatever. But as long as you get them into the dirt and get them pretty deep, you should do pretty good with those, and you have a better chance of it growing good. So let's see if I can get this dirt in there. So that worked out pretty good. You can see how the dirt comes way up on the tomato. And we'll put that down a little bit like that, and hopefully okay. I'm gonna put his tag back in there so we don't forget who he is. And we'll move on to the next one. I'm gonna have to go get some more dirt. All right, we got these tomatoes transplanted into the bigger pots. So now we have to water them in real good. And hopefully this will work out real good. And we will have some bigger tomatoes for a change. This bed here, we've got some snow peas, they're called, growing in it. You can see a couple of the pea pods that are on there. We've actually picked out of here a couple times and eaten some of these things, and they are so good. Me and Carol sort of kid each other, but we're sort of serious. They're like candy to us. We just love the taste of these things. And looks like there's several in here that are ready to be picked. So we need to get some more of these today, I guess. Here's a big one right here. It's pretty big. And here's another one right here. There's also this other one, this plant here. We thought that it was a cucumber at first when it started growing. It was left over from last time we had cucumbers on this fence, but we're starting to think that it might be a Seminole pumpkin. It looks more like a Seminole pumpkin, the leaves do, than it does a cucumber. So we're just letting it grow, and we're gonna see what it turns into. Whatever it is, we like it, so it'll be okay. This is another fence that we planted the peas on. This was where the loofah were growing, and when they were starting to die out, as you can see, they're dead now, and when they started to die out, we put peas in here underneath them so they could come right up underneath them. Figured about the time the loofah was done, the peas would be coming up, and sure enough, they were. So anyway, so there's another bunch of peas in here that we can get also. There's several of them in here. I've already forgotten 3, 4, here's 4. So, and these really aren't even fully grown yet. Usually when we plant these on a fence, they really just take over the whole fence and cover it. So these guys probably are going to continue to grow and get even bigger than what they are now. We're hoping anyway. Here's one I missed, sort of hiding underneath. I didn't see it. This is what we ended up with from the sugar peas that we picked out of the high tunnel. There's plenty enough here for probably, we think maybe 2 meals. There's at least enough for a meal for both of us, and we may have extras. So this worked out pretty good. We're getting some good stuff out of our garden. Came out here a couple days ago and cleaned out this raised bed here and got all the weeds and everything out of it. And we're going to replant this, but we have to put more dirt in it. There's not enough in here. It's been in here for a while, and so it's sort of packed itself down. So we've got some bags of topsoil we're going to put in there, and then we're going to probably put some other kind of dirt, some better dirt that it will actually grow in. We're just at this point trying to build it up as far as we can, and then put some other good stuff with nutrients in it to plant in here. We're planning to put yellow squash in this one, so we're going to see if we can get those planted today, and we'll see how they do. All right, well, so far I've got 5 in here. This is bag number 6. I'm gonna put this in here. We get this all smoothed out. There, we got that in there. Try to get it as even as possible. And then we'll come back and dump some more some other stuff, some more dirt in here, maybe some rabbit manure, chicken manure, something else to nourish the soil. What I put in here this time is mainly just to build it up, to get it thicker, deeper. And so then we'll come back and put nutritious stuff in here for the plants to live off of. So that's gonna be our next. Should have brought the gorilla cart down. This is gonna be our next load, or for our next layer. It's raised bed potting mix, it says. And so we're going to put a couple of these in here. That way when we plant, it'll have some nutrition to draw from. Well, we got a lot of our planting done. Got a lot of work done in the raised bed in the garden. We actually added some chicken manure, composted chicken manure, into the raised bed, but we didn't have enough time to get it planted or anything. We had to get back and get the animals fed and all that kind of stuff, so we had a lot going on as usual, so we didn't get to finish that off. So we're going to probably show that at a later time and show you what we did as far as planting stuff in that raised bed. Well, it's the end of the day and we got a lot done. We didn't get as much done as we had hoped, or some of the things that we intended to do we didn't get to do, but we had other things that came up that were more pressing, and so we got some stuff accomplished though. This is inside the high tunnel. Carol just got done watering all of it, and so it's all looking pretty good. And so we're going to be planting some more seeds later, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can get a good harvest out of all the stuff that we plant. Anyway, so thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead. Hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you hit the subscribe, leave us comments. Until next time, we'll see you later.